Good morning, you beautiful people. So we're quickly going to take some mulch to Im's. I see I forgot my boxing bag on the car last night. We just need to take that away, ne? Mulch and then compost. Old compost. And it's sort of ready for the garden. Taking a couple of bags of this black gold there. I think that's going to boost his garden. Now, I haven't been to Im's garden basically since he removed the mulch. Well, I've been there once with Lisa, very quickly afterwards. So I have no idea what we are expecting, what's happening there. It's also been winter, so that causes a lot of other growth problems. We'll have to see what's happening there. So that is currently our morning. The wind is blowing like crazy. Want to show you something. We added the 2 pigs that wasn't killed by the mama pig in the past, added them back in here. We've been bottle feeding them, and we're still going to keep on bottle feeding them, but I think she's going to take them better now that her original babies are back, and I don't think she can tell the difference. So we're still going to bottle feed them a couple of times a day. But they've become so big that they've started getting out of the box that we keep them in. These guys are all mixed onion ring there in the back. She's just become a number now. But here you can see the difference between a pig that's been fed on store-bought food and one that's just been fed on scraps. Maybe, let me see if I can show you a better comparison. That's still some of her sisters. It's a bit difficult because you don't know the age, but I feel that the ones that's been fed on store-bought food, Onion Ring and her little sisters, 4 sisters, is in a much better condition than the ones that's just been used to scrap food from the shops. However, if you take into account the price that you spend on food, obviously recycled food is much cheaper. Like crazy amount of money cheaper than to collect food from the stores that's been thrown away than it is to buy store-bought food. And then obviously for the environment it's much better to give them a recycled food instead of giving them a corn-based product or something that's been grown especially just to feed pigs. And I think it might also be healthier for a human to eat because the variety of what they get into them is also much wider. So I think all in all the recycled food is definitely the winner. However, we'll probably still finish them off with a store-bought food just to get the fat content right and to get all of those things right to get them marketable. So that's currently our idea. Mulch coming there. So most of the mulch that we're going to use is a termite repellent, I feel. It's this plant that I spoke about yesterday that smells funky. I don't think the termites eat them as much. We'll see. Im's has got a huge problem with termites on his land. On our way to Im's house, Im's asked that I just quickly help him replace. This is a water tag that he used to buy water, so he's quickly going to replace that in the municipality. Okay, so those people said the tag is about $500, but they don't have one in stock. So what we're going to do is he's going to use his neighbor's tag first to create water, to capture water. Somebody way in the past bought him 200-liter tanks as well, 200-liter drums. I think it was Beshi. I'm not sure who to give credit for that. So he's going to fill up those water tanks until the municipality has got stock again, and then we'll buy him a tag. Now, as I said, I was very disheartened back then when he removed the mulch. And I thought, okay, I'm going to give him a chance to do his own thing, and I wanted to just try and keep my head above water for a couple of months. My business went backwards and etc. So I haven't given him any attention at all. Keep that in mind, that everything that's here was done by himself, and be gracious and lenient with your judgments regarding that. Take into account that all of this is frowned upon by his community, and all of this is still new to him. So put that in your heart before you see what I'm about to show you. And especially in the comments, please be respectful. Okay, so I arrived, his yard is filled with mulch. He found some trees in the area that he mulched. He got a bit disheartened by the termites, so he did not plant a winter crop. There's some cabbage there, but mostly he kept the trees alive. You can see the mango is doing fantastic. And this is things that dies with me in the winter. His citrus is doing great. His prickly pears are putting on new leaves. And take into account that this is a very grey, dull day. It's a terrible day. The wind is blowing, it's dusty, everything looks terrible, even on the farm. Papaya is looking great, survived. I'm so glad the winter didn't take it. So that's wonderful. His marulas, as expected, they threw off their leaves, but they didn't die back. There's life all the way to the top there. So he is going to have marula trees that's surviving. There's another marula tree. It's got all its leaves, lots of mulch. The fig tree over here, putting on figs. He said he watered on Sunday. No, on Saturday was the last time he watered. But you can see obviously Vanessa probably watered this thing this morning. So it was one of the things that gives me a lot of hope, is that he went out of his way to go and find mulch in other places and mulched without me having any sort of input or anything like that. The one thing that broke his spirit a bit was when his chickens got stolen. He got himself, this guy Silent is now locked in the cage. They tied this one up as well because the two of them, he says, will bite me. Silent became a lot more aggressive than he was. So the dogs are tied up just until I'm no longer here. His worms are doing very well. We saw plenty of worms. Oi, oi, oi. Blew that compost into my eyes. But his worms are doing well, so that's wonderful. We bought like 4 or 5 bags of compost and then plenty of bags of mulch as well. The shop, obviously he painted all of these things with some of the paint that was left. It looks fantastic. Look at this. Im's residence, and then I think that's the Paresis Mountains over there. The moon coming up to 06. So this is really arty and nice. And then all of this artwork over here. Now I was surprised to learn that he almost doesn't turn any money in the shop, but now I know why. He did what most young business owners do, and that is take the profits and live from that. So he's got a couple of onions. There's almost no stock. That's the main thing. So we spoke about it, and we need to find a way for him to reinvest his profits into his business constantly. And that is not only something that happens to him, it happens to most of the young business owners that I know. Anybody that starts a business struggles to keep the business money in the business. Even I struggle with that sometimes, keeping business money in the business and not doing the things that your wife wants you to do, or living from it. Or if your child is hungry and you have food in your shop, you're not going to feed him just normal maize meal, you're going to give him a good meal. So it's something that takes a lot of self-control. It's something that he's going to be working on. And Brendo seems like Brendo, I don't know how much I need to tell you yet, but Brendo is busy helping Ims quite a bit. We'll see in the next couple of weeks to what extent that is going to be, but Brenda is really pushing and helping Ims in all sorts of different ways, and especially with getting more stock in the shop. So Brenda, thank you very much for that. And then Sue B and Beshi gave money for an extra worker for the next couple of days, maybe even a month, So Subi and Besha, I really wanted to thank you. This is now the sealant for that water tank. So Imps, I explained to him that he needs to get it completely dry first and then dry it out for a couple of days so we can seal that water tank in a decent fashion. All of these are bags filled with compost. And morning. Sharp. Curious youth checking what we're doing. Yeah, so I think that is the full update on Ims's house. I think a couple of things. I focused a bit too much on myself and not enough on the community. I need to get back into Ims's life. Brenda mentioned something that I believe is true, and that is that these guys are absolutely the key into this community. If we can make this a success, then that is absolutely the key for changing the lives of this community around here. So I need to focus a little bit more on my community, leave some changes that I want to leave one day when I'm not here, live those changes already. And so that's the first thing. Second thing is we'll focus on Im's business skills a little bit, get him to reinvest his money into his stock. Third thing is, so we'll be planting corn. The very first thing is we'll be planting corn all over his yard as a top story, you can almost say, for the vegetable garden. We'll wait until they about a feet high, or maybe 2 feet high, foot high, if that's a term that people understand, 30 centimeters high. And then we'll plant watermelon or pumpkins between them, just so that the corn can jump out before the bottom crop comes. We'll probably do some beans and so on as well. I think that's going to be the end of my story. Thank you so much, and I hope you are having a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow.